All right, guys, I need some help. We got this conference coming up later on in the summer, and I have no idea what I'm gonna wear. I'm thinking like probably, try and look a little professional, maybe put on some dress clothes. But with that being said, I don't like what kind of accessories do you guys rock with your dress clothes? Like, I haven't worn dress clothes in so long. Like I kind of just dress like a hobo for the most part, just because I don't care usually. But now I'm thinking, hey, maybe I got a reason to care a little bit. Um, I don't really get out much. What do you guys think? I need some help.
Why don't you check out cufflinks.com? It's kind of like the men's accessories marketplace.
Okay, so like what can I get on there then?
Prince, you can get anything on there. Cufflinks, tie bars, pocket squares, ties, socks, all the good stuff.
Yeah, they have like 58 different brands, 13 different licenses, Star Wars, Marvel, all the more traditional looks, all the major sports leagues.
Even probably have hockey.
All right, well, like I like that. Maybe I get myself some NHL stuff, but then again, I don't know if I want to out myself that easily on who I cheer for. It usually ends up being a case to make fun of me.
Yeah, we got to be looking our best though, and I've held this stuff and felt this stuff, and it's really quality stuff. I have some of the stuff myself. I have some lapel pins, cufflinks that I use pretty much every day when I go to work.
See, I don't even own any cufflinks. So I'm thinking maybe I treat myself,
Yeah, what's cool about it too is not only do they have like the more creative ones, like their upcoming Game of Thrones line, but all the more traditional ones, just standard colors and styles. It's a really good variety of dress accessories for any kind of guy.
Beauty. All right. Well, yeah, I appreciate the suggestion, fellas.
Prince, all you got to do is go check out cufflinks.com.
Yeah, and when you're there, be sure to use the promo code CRYPTO20 for 20% off your first order.
Well, I like discounts, so I'll be doing that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Let's go.
Round one. Fight. Thank you for tuning in to the Crypto Street Podcast. Here are your hosts, Killer Whale, Prince, and Crypto Dale.
And remember to tip your waitress.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Crypto Street Podcast. This is Crypto Dale coming to you from Killer's mom's basement. What's up, Killer? How you doing, buddy? Good
My
to
mom's
see you.
basement? What are you doing there, Dale?
Nothing. Or should I say my son-in-law going to my stepson, Killer Whale.
Jesus. This makes me a little uncomfortable. Just a little.
Just
It's
kidding.
okay, though.
For all your family needs, go to familytree.com.
There we go.
Just kidding. What's up, Killer?
Not too much, bro. Chilling. Watching these charts. Don't really know what to think of them yet. I'm sure we'll get into that at some point. But doing well.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell to think. So, Prince, what about you?
What's up, man?
Yeah.
What?
Nothing. What's up with you?
I'm living life. Another evening chatting with the fellas. Like,
Prince, are you in my mom's basement as well?
no, I'm in Canada.
Thank
so you
God.
don't have
At
to
least it's
worry
not the
about
both
me.
of you.
No, it's getting nice out here, though. I know everyone wants to hear a weather update. It's getting nice out. I got shorts on, got the t-shirt on. I'm living the good life right now.
What's
There's no snow.
what's the temperature target, man?
Well, I think like in American temperature, it's like 70.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
70?
Yeah, so it's
nice.
Yeah, not too bad. Actually, it just went down 68 now. So
It's like
There you
straight
go,
up
but-
warm there.
Wow.
yeah, it's nice. It's nice. We had snow like a week and a half ago, and it's all gone now. So there you go.
Bull market.
So,
has
are you
begun.
guys done with snow?
Yeah.
We get a nice 2-week break of snow here, and it's about 70, and then it dips back down to 30.
Yeah, it'll be back probably about end of September. We'll get snow again. So, it's a short little break, but
Jeez,
what a life, right?
what a life!
But you know what?
glad
The nice thing
I'm
about
in
snow-
Canada.
We don't have terrible bugs or, reptiles and all those weird creatures. It's pretty good up here. So I can't complain all
Weird
the time.
creatures.
Yeah. You go to Australia and you hear about all the dangerous critters out there lurking. So.
Yeah. It's 'cause
It's crazy. They've got them snakes, and I hate
Yeah,
spiders.
so I don't got to deal with
They've
that.
got those.
Have you
too,
guys
so-
ever seen those videos of those guys in Australia where they let a spider crawl in their mouth? These like big ass like huntsman spiders, I think they're called or something.
No.
What is wrong with
It's
them?
What the hell?
so freaky. Oh my God.
Well, even just looking at one of those is freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I won't. You won't be seeing
No.
me YouTubing that anytime soon. Sorry, we got to get to the subject. I know Startail's probably like, what in the fuck am I doing?
I mean, I gotta say, guys, that was probably the most legendary display of small talk I've ever heard. So, well done.
What's even best is you chimed in.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time, like most of the guests just sit there and are like I imagine they're just like looking their eyes like out of the corner of their eyes, like, what the fuck am I getting?
I usually just start feeling bad. I'm like, oh, they're like, why did I even come on?
Well,
here?
I
These
think
guys are just a bunch of
they feel like
donkeys.
awkward chiming in before they're like addressed, but like we really don't care. Like you can just chime in whatever, especially because you've already been on too, you know. So it's like whatever.
Yeah. So everyone, Startail is our guest again today. He was on earlier. So if you want kind of the background on how he got into crypto, you can listen to that episode. I don't remember which one it was, but follow him on Twitter. It's at Startail TV. Roy Blackstone coming to you with the scary cartoon Abby.
Hell yeah.
So Roy, what you been up to since the last time we talked to you?
Making a lot of stacks, bro. Making a lot of money. That's pretty much my thing.
Money moves.
I turned on the gas.
Fantastic.
Yeah, turn on the gas for my website. Been like pretty much working like full time on that. Committed. Because before I was kind of just playing around with it, but now I'm pretty serious about it. GlobalHalo.com, by the way. There's my plug.
Nice.
Go check it out.
GlobalHalo.com.
Yeah.
Now, were you working on this last time that...
I was kind of working on it, but not really. Whereas now I'm kind of like a lot more full time. I was kind of unsure exactly what I was doing, but I had like a lot of free time, and I was like, well, like sitting at my house and like, jacking off all over myself and playing video games like 12 hours a day is pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Pretty good life. I'm thinking like I'm in like probably the top 1% of the 1%. I don't live in like India or something. I don't have to like wonder where my next meal is coming.
Yeah.
Maybe I should translate a little bit of this wealth into like some other kind of opportunity. So I was like, let me work on this website a little bit. So that's so I decided to commit to that, and I've been working on that. I feel a little bit more productive, guys. So I got to say, massive productivity gains. And the website's doing pretty well.
You probably think, you have the quote unquote growing up stage heading to do instead of sitting around and whacking it, playing video games all day. So, so touche to you for recognizing that. There's probably a lot of 40-year-olds out there that maybe haven't recognized that yet.
Oh no, they
and if you are, I'm not.
They're just like
they're too committed.
Yeah, I'll deal with that later. Yeah,
they're too committed to the game. They're not changing.
It's too comfy,
Yeah.
Well, it's like it's all a balance. It's nice to have like times where you're just not doing shit and like you don't move 2 feet for like 2 days, But then eventually you want something to put your mind to, and life's a balance, I think.
So what I'm gathering now is none of you guys have kids.
No.
Not yet, bro.
No.
I've got a puppy,
because
right?
the only time I get to sit and do not move for 2 feet is when he's sleeping.
Jeez.
You just got to sneak.
Yeah, I can't
sneak
but it's
sleep
all
drugs
good. It's
into
all
his
good.
food, Dale.
I sound like doom and gloom here, but it's really great.
Yeah. Have kids, guys. It's awesome.
Roy, so what do you think of these markets here? We kind of mentioned before you had joined that me, Killer, and Prince. Me in particular, just don't really know what to think here. What are you thinking?
Bulls in disbelief, my friend. Bears in disbelief as well. I'm honestly I'm the biggest like Bitcoin bull. And first of all, we got to talk about the last time I was on. I was so wrong. I don't remember what I was saying. I think I was saying that the bottom was somewhere around 8,000.
Mm.
I think it was when we were having the discussion and went down like 6,000 something. So
yeah.
I actually ended up doing a trade on BitMEX, and I just got liquidated because I was on like the lowest like leverage possible. I was on 3x leverage, and I got liquidated, and I was the bottom. I'm pretty sure on that. move. But that's how I knew. I was like, okay, this is the bottom, because like even like low leverage like plebs like me got liquidated. So it's like, it's pretty bullish. So I was happy about that. I mean, about as happy as you can be losing money. Sign of the times, my friend. Sign of the times. But and so I was like, I think I wasn't accounting for a few things at the time. Fundamentally speaking, I didn't know that the Gox whale was just like massively dumping his coins.
Mm-hmm.
There was like another thing. Oh, the tax season. I didn't think the tax season was going to be that big of a deal.
That snuck up on me. It's like I didn't expect that was going to play the kind of factor it did until.
Dude, I had people messaging me on Twitter. They were like, yeah, so I'm talking to my lawyer today. And they were like, yeah, I got like 2 different options. So like the first option is I can like go under this law and I only have to pay like, $3,000 or whatever. And then under this law, I have to pay like $700,000.
Oh, jeez.
So I was like, wow. Man. I was like, just be a good citizen and pay your taxes. Like the highest amount of taxes that you can pay, right? Like, aren't you a patriot?
Dude.
But
I wonder how many people on crypto Twitter are like spouting like, everyone pay your taxes. Trust me, it's not worth it. Meanwhile, they're just not paying.
But they actually didn't.
Yeah.
I bet.
Meanwhile, they're like, hey guys,
percentage.
I conveniently put my private keys on my Evernote. And they may or may not have been taken by some hacker who knew my old school email.
Dude, wait, okay. So the part that got me about the Ian Bellina hack, which for anybody who doesn't know, that's what you're referring to, is like, he lost like 80% of his net worth, like $2 million. And he's like, I'm not even concerned about the money. I'm like, what? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Like,
how are you not concerned about the money,
I'm sorry,
bro?
but I gotta say, like, I gotta call bullshit. Like, he is, I don't know. There's something wrong with that whole picture there.
Well, guys, like, maybe you guys don't know this about like the Ian Bellina lore, right? So he's actually doing like a movie. He did some kind of movie venture. And so he put a lot of money into that. So what I'm thinking is this is like part of the movie, right? So every movie needs to have like a bad guy. So this guy's kind of like, the swiper, no swiping kind of guy. He's took all his money and he's like, all right, now we're on the people's mission. The crypto family needs to track this guy down. We're traveling the 4 corners of the globe to get this guy. And at the end of the movie, like I imagine this in like a few months, he's gonna be like, okay, we've tracked him down, we've got him in his hideout, we're gonna move in, and it's gonna be like, just this epic thing. And it's all gonna be fake, but it's gonna be for his movie. That's what I'm thinking.
And he'll find all of his lost crypto again.
Yeah, he'll get it all back.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I found the hacker. His name is Ian Bellina.
Yeah.
Like I just remember watching the whole thing, and I like just looking at his. You could see his face when it was all going down, and it was like, man, this is such bullshit. Like, this is not real. Like,
because wasn't he allegedly?
Maybe it is, and I feel bad saying this, but
like,
yeah, he was streaming it while it was happening. It was just, no, this doesn't seem real.
Well, and didn't he say that he had the KuCoin address that it got sent to, and someone checked it, and the balance was 0, and then he deleted the tweet, and then the balance all of a sudden went up or something like that.
Yeah. He wasn't covering his tracks very well.
From what I know, people were saying that, because I know some people who are very well connected in like the hacking community, and they were saying that he was actually hacked for that amount of money.
Oh shit!
But he also knows who actually performed the hack. So it's a little bit.
So there's some conspiracy theories that could be going around there.
So who knows? I mean, I could have been getting trolled or whatever, but I'm more inclined to believe the people that told me that he was legitimately hacked.
Yeah.
Crazy. I wonder, I mean, if he knows who did it, like, can you go after them, or like, what's the recourse?
Well, he made a tweet. He was like, yeah, we're working with like top government agencies. I'm like, oh God. Like, this guy made it sound like it was Modern Warfare or something.
Oh God.
We're working with MI6 to track down this guy at his terrorist headquarters. Like, it was a little bit silly, but that was his tweet. And I was like, oh,
we have a SEAL team descending upon his location.
Was the Silicone hack attempt, was that like before or after this? Because they were really close to each other.
I think it
was after.
Yeah, it was after.
Yeah. It just, what a world. Crypto Twitter.
What a great world.
It's its own soap opera. Just crypto Twitter.
No.
Everything.
Always.
I mean, just
like even this past week here, we had SEC drama going down, and I think crypto Twitter was just fuming over it. The amount of people I saw, prepare for lawsuits, Wall Street Journal. It's like, shut up. Like,
the misinformation in both directions was crazy because people were convinced it was going to be like a meeting and like an absolute final decision. And then like, I guess people ran with this narrative that there was no meeting at all, but I don't think that was true either. I think there actually was a meeting. It just didn't get commented on.
Dude, that was like the biggest like double betrayal ever. That was like some Game of Thrones tier like master manipulator shit. Where they were like, hey, everyone's like leading up to this meeting, and then all of a sudden it's like there is no meeting. And then at the end it's like, ah, but there was a meeting.
No comment.
It's like, so what was going on here? Yeah.
That's like the M. Night Shyamalan level twist. Like,
Yeah.
I see meetings.
And people were actually like calling the SEC asking
Oh, I know.
if the meeting was going on. That's what like blows my
I
mind.
love hello, I'm
Oh,
Crypto
man.
Billy on Twitter. Was there a meeting
Yeah.
today? I need to know. I'm thinking of longing the corn.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yes, hello. I have lots of those Ethereums. Was there a
I
meeting
thought, like,
today?
I thought your tweet there, Dale, where you're like kind of that mock chat with SEC Margaret was just perfect. It was, yeah.
That shit
Martha.
was great.
Yeah,
It was
Margaret.
perfect.
Yeah. It really
I
happened.
got a really
guys.
good laugh out of that.
I sent the screenshots to Killer and Prince before I posted it and was just like, do you guys think if I actually post this that, I could get in trouble for impersonating an SEC official? And Killer's like, well, no, I think you're good, but I don't know if I'd take my word for it.
I just wanted to see you post it. It was like completely self-serving. No,
all
you're
of a
fine,
sudden
bro.
you hear like all of a sudden you hear like UAZ inbound, like tactical airstrike on your location. No, I mean I can imagine how that call went. Like, hey, my name is Crypto Master 69. I'm from Twitter. I'd like to know, like, are you guys having a meeting? And the other guy's like, what?
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, we have
Yeah.
several meetings planned
We got
today.
people all over this building.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Roy, what's your thoughts on the Ethereum? Is it a security?
Oh hell no.
Do
Hell
you
no.
not want to say?
No way.
I think maybe when it first started, I could possibly see them labeling it, but without a doubt, I don't think it is now.
Yeah. I don't think it was ever made with any kind of intention of being a security. Well, I wasn't around back in
Yeah,
it was
I
made
would
like
agree.
2015, right? Is when the ICO happened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something
something
like that.
It was either 2015 or 2014. But just from what I know about Vitalik and the way that Ethereum and the ICO was most likely set up, I doubt it was set up as a, hey, you buy into this and you're going to make a lot of money. I expect it was more done like Tezos, where it was like, you are contributing to this as like a crowdfund kind of thing. You're donating your money, and maybe you'll get back some tokens.
Yeah.
So even in that
and
case,
Killer
Vitalik is
donate
kind of
your money.
Yeah, like, he's a genius, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's not gonna.
The thing is, though, it's
the
like you
Ethereum
can't just
network
say it's not a security in the crowdfund and have the SEC be like, "Oh, they said it wasn't a security, so it's not, guys." It's like, so I don't know. It's tough. Like,
That's what Tezos is getting
yeah,
experience
like
right now.
I personally with Ethereum, I think it's too far past the fact
Uh,
for the SEC or the government to really do anything. Like, what are they going to roll back all Ethereum
Yeah.
transactions?
I mean, if they did, they would need to be talking about Ethereum Classic. As funny as that
Yeah.
Oh,
meme
God.
goes, like they are, that's the original chain.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, it's true.
Hey, back to Tezos real quick. Did you see that that guy that take the podcast account said, the year's 2025, and these are the headlines. And he said, Tezos announces they are going to
Yeah.
launch in quarter 3.
Yeah.
I
If you guys
found
didn't see
funny.
that, yeah, a guy did like crypto Twitter 7 years in the future, and he's like, he's just commenting on a bunch of crypto Twitter personalities and different memes in crypto. It was a really good post, and it spread like wildfire. I mean, I think I retweeted it on the podcast account. It got like
It was hilarious.
200 retweets, and it was funny though.
Tezos. What is? Does anyone know any developments with it? I own some, and I don't even
Scam.
keep track of it anymore.
So the reason they're taking so long right now is because they are doing a hilariously long auditing process.
Oh,
What are they auditing? I have no clue. I mean, they already had like a year and a half, not a year and a half, about a year
Oh,
for this now at this
yeah,
point.
about a year now.
Audit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
yeah.
they're aiming to launch at the end of or they said within Q2, and given their like past timelines, it's going to be the very last day at like 11:59 p.m. On June 30th of Q2. And so I'll believe it when I see it. Like I honestly spend way too much time like on Tezos communities, just kind of like arguing with people
Oh,
back
yeah.
and forth. And just like I feel like there's so many people who are just deluded themselves into thinking like, oh, this is like it's all sunshine and roses, and like it's amazing what people can convince themselves of. And I do like a lot of Tezos's core ideas and stuff, but the execution has been an atrocious mess so far. I don't think you can deny that. I mean, this was a project, obviously, that was touted as being, quote unquote, basically complete during the ICO. And we are now a year later and it hasn't even launched. So it's just mind boggling to me. Well, people can convince themselves, though.
It's tough, right? Like I find myself, I don't even want to keep up to date with the project because
Smart, dude.
whenever I do go looking for things, it's like, oh, you start to get your hopes up a bit. And then it's like, oh yeah, it could be coming any week now. And then, 3-4 weeks pass. It's like, oh yeah, that's still not
That's the bag holders getting to you, man. That's the quote unquote community.
Yeah.
Getting to you.
I am a community member now.
Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that image of where there's like a skeleton at his like computer and he's like still waiting?
Waiting for OP to deliver.
It's gonna be Tezos
Waiting for
bag holders.
Tezos to deliver. Yeah.
But when they do deliver, don't get me wrong,
Right.
it'll be freaking huge.
Yeah, it's gonna. I think if they can get it out, I think we've said this on here before, and I think Killer, you initially said it, but I think it could be the start to a major pump for alt season.
Could be.
It just needs to launch.
So here's what I honestly think. So Tezos has so much money. I mean, they can get creative with this big 250, 500 million war chest they have, because
it's a lot bigger.
Yeah,
now.
they raised 250, but yeah, with all the appreciation in the Bitcoin and Ethereum they've gotten, it's probably like, 750 to a billion.
Closer.
And so, I mean, the things you can do with that kind of money, you should be on every main exchange, okay? You should be on Binance at a very bare minimum. You should be on Bitfinex. You should be on every exchange you can get your hands on because
Coinbase,
there's nothing to stop you from bribing these exchanges. Money speaks. Maybe eventually, yeah. But like another thing I really don't think would be a bad idea, and this is getting very creative with it, but I mean, they should set big ass buy walls. Like I don't know if this is illegal, but like start the pump.
Manipulate your own.
Whatever, bro. It's not a security, right? Doesn't matter.
That's almost definitely
I'm telling you,
illegal,
take
plunge
100.
protection
Okay, here's what you
team.
do: you take 100 million of this money they raised. You first you put it on IDEX or something with like very low volume,
pump your
and you
own
pump it
coin.
up like 5,000% immediately, and then people will catch on and pump it like another 10,000%. Then you cash out.
Well,
Everybody's
first of all, Tezos would never be on IDEX because it's none of the
True.
RC20. But and secondly, I'm already seeing several holes in your
Damn it.
strategy here that I'm gonna have to stop you. But yeah, I mean, I think all the exchange, I think that makes a lot of sense, and I also think a lot of the exchanges like Binance, Upbit, whatever else, right? They're gonna want to host or they're gonna want to trade Tezos because it's gonna have just like legendary volume. I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be
so
like
much
$10 billion volume. Yeah. Like I want it to release just so like everyone who's like fudding me and like sliding me can just shut up. And
I
be like,
feel you, man. Like
Tezos
everybody
is
who's like,
bad.
oh man, too bad or good thing you didn't invest in Tezos. Imagine being one of those guys. And it's like, you know what? Screw you guys. This is gonna work out and it is gonna be freaking awesome. Like,
It's like your
Yeah.
day will come, sir.
I-
Like,
you know,
we'll all be vindicated. Like but the
we'll
thing
have
is,
the
like,
last laugh.
I need it to like go like 15 or 20x just to like break even in terms of like
Opportunity cost, yeah.
yeah.
I know, yeah.
So it's not even going to be like that amazing because by the time Tezos comes out, like at the time, last year when I invested, it was a massive part of my portfolio out because I really, believe in the project.
Same here,
It comes out now, it's like less than 1%. So it's like this
Yeah.
thing needs to pump like 10x to be worth something.
yeah.
Well, it makes me feel better that
Yeah.
you're in it too. I know there are a few like very big crypto Twitter personalities who are in it and who are bullish, so that's got to be a good thing in terms of sentiment.
Yeah, I'm bullish on it for sure.
Thank God.
I'm bullish, but I always get told I'm an idiot for being bullish, so I just keep my mouth shut about that on Twitter.
You know what? I'm gonna go against the grain.
Oh.
I'm bearish as shit on it until they release these things. It's
It
just
has.
been such a cluster. Do I think it'll get released eventually? Yes, and I think it will pump some. But so Roy, are we gonna have an alt season this year?
Oh, I think it's
Good alt
well, I
season.
think it's
not
already
a
starting.
week long.
And like I mentioned, even myself being like one of the biggest like bullish personalities on Twitter, because I was talking about 100K even back when we were like massively dipping at 6K. So I'm still talking about it now.
Respect.
I'm actually still a little bit in
Yep.
disbelief of this alt season so far. So like that's a good thing. I'm thinking it's going to be like pretty legendary this year, and I think it's going to all happen now and in the Q3 of
Please, sir.
2018. Please, sir, my family.
Yeah.
Please, sir.
I sure hope you're right.
I think I troll you the hardest, Roy, whenever you type anything bullish. I think I always just reply, please, sir.
Yeah, so I mean, I think all the ultra primes or whatever, like I always look at charts like Digibyte for whatever reason as being like my what would you call it? Like my indicator, my litmus test.
Get some real true shit coins in there, and they'll tell you the way.
Yeah, and then I see that we're doing like the first little bump or whatever, and that's like the first sell off or whatever before the alt season really gets started.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you can call this an alt season until we see Tron at like 2000 set again. And I think that'll happen.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and like some people are saying like it's already like nearing its end, but I don't think that's. I mean, alt seasons get ridiculous in terms of returns, where you just like are
a true alt season is to me insane. Like it's, throwing darts at a board blindfolded, and you're making a 2x or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, that was 2017.
Yes.
And I think that's what everyone wants. I think after 2017, like there will never again be like a victory as sweet as what that was, where you were just like
that was
the entire community. Yeah, absolutely.
Like
So-
I look back on it, I just I'm pissed at myself. It's like, man, you gotta take advantage of those things more. It's like, holy crap! But yeah,
Well, I was a noob. It's one of those things that I can only appreciate in hindsight.
Yeah.
But back then I had no idea what the hell was going on. I was just like, hey, I turned my $10 into $20, guys.
yeah.
Cashing out.
Hell yeah. Living life in the sky. Eat, sleep,
Prince.
Bitcoin.
That's right. Prince, what would you do different if another alt season came up?
I would have been more steady, patient, just chill out. When you got a good position, let it ride for a while. Don't be so quick to just throw the bag out once you're up 20-30%, which I guess some guys like that, right? And that's in some guys' trading styles. But just for me, I go and I do a lot of evaluation over past trades, and I'll look at where it is, maybe a month later or something, just to see where I could have been, where I'm at now, what differences, and changes I could have made. And that was one of them, just chilling out more, just being patient. When it's good, and just ride the wave.
Yeah, and like people like one thing I always like to say is like, things that are overbought can get more overbought, like almost indefinitely, especially in things that are as emotionally driven as crypto, where there's not like fundamentals to go, oh my God, this is way overvalued, So you really let things ride. I think that's a great point.
Yeah, and what was it? Bitcoin, I think was it was like for 2 months was above the overbought RSI index or whatever. So that just goes to show, a lot of people. I mean, that's a month. I know it was a minimum a month, maybe 2, but I mean that just goes to.
I mean, the way I always think of like the way I like to describe the last alt season was so like naturally when I wake up, like my first move is to like check my phone, check Blockfolio just to see what everything's doing, and this was literally a 5 to 6 month period where almost every day I would check my Blockfolio. It was up from when I went to sleep. And that's kind of what alt season.
It felt like it just went
a
on
real one is
forever.
like. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's past even like euphoria, because like the euphoria sets in like 2 months into it. And you're just like, oh my God, I'm making so much money. And then you just keep making more.
And then it gets to the point where you think you're like God's gift to the world of investing. And you're like, oh man, like I am a god, I am good. And then you lose a bunch of money. Like, reality check.
I would even go on to say, as douchey as this sounds, not just investing, but I know like I was just walking around and I just fucking felt so good.
Just
like someone would
strutting.
say something and I'm just like, I don't give a shit, man. I don't care, whatever fuck you want to do.
Bro,
Go
want to
ahead.
look at my Blockfolio?
Roy's like, God, these guys are douches.
No, I get the sentiment, dude. Like, when I made my first sizable amount of money, I thought I was the king of the world, my friend.
I mean, but the work you put into it,
Yeah.
and then when you actually see the rewards, then I think that's what, for me, I was just like, man, this is just fucking awesome. Like, don't talk to me like that, person. Do you know I am Crypto Dale? Like, just kidding.
Do you know who I am?
Have you heard of Crypto Street Podcast and Whale Reports?
I think like the most memorable thing for me from like when Bitcoin was up at like 20K-ish was just thinking how great I was and just how stupid I feel now. It's like, oh yeah, there we go. But you know what? That needs to happen. Market does that. It'll bring you up and then it'll humble you. So
Yeah,
Yeah, and as long as you're learning along the way, I think that's the
for
key.
sure. And it gets
in my
tough
opinion.
because ego gets in the way of trading 100%, you know? So it's almost like the
Oh,
better you
right.
do, the harder it is to do well.
that's a good point. Yeah.
But yeah, my version of that like cockiness was like a shit-eating grin about like everybody at work. You know, it's just like, oh, how about that Bitcoin? Like, yeah. It's like, you know, because I was telling people about it like I think when it broke like 1,000
Yeah.
around like New Year's of 2017. I was like, I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but this Bitcoin thing broke 1,000, and like people are like, oh yeah, whatever, like shut up. And I was like, I think it's going places. I don't know. It was fun to it's
Yeah.
fun to be cocky sometimes.
Usually comes around to bite me in the ass, but
What is up, Crypto Street? Are you trying to look fly for that special lady in your life or look your sharpest for an upcoming job interview? Cufflinks.com is your go-to spot for everything men's accessories. They have 58 different brands, including Hook and Albert, Ox and Bull, and their own proprietary brand, Cufflinks Inc. They have 13 different licenses, including Game of Thrones, Star Wars, Marvel, DC Comics, and all the major sports leagues, so you can really customize your look. They have everything from cufflinks, tie bars, clips, socks, ties, bracelets, accessory bags, and much more. Encourage you to elevate your look when you get dressed in the morning. It's really going to give you that confidence to kill whatever you have coming up. Visit cufflinks.com and enter the promo code CRYPTO20 for 20% off your first order.
what do you guys see much about this Bitcoin addition onto Binance last night there?
Yeah, I saw that. Like someone not so made a tweet about it today.
Oh, just
You know what
a situation.
you know what the actual like scenario is, right? Like everyone thinks like, oh, there was like a Binance, you know, the Chinese employees, they can't see very well, so they like missed a zero. No. This is how it actually went down. So Chang Peng realized, CZ, he realized that everyone was making fun of him for wearing shorts in that photo. So he was like, all right, I'm going to show all these motherfuckers what's up. I'm going to buy myself like 10 Lambos. So he's talking to like the Binance team, and he's like, so how can I get like 10 Lambos, and like I need them in like a day? And they're like, okay, well, we got to make a shitload of money for that. So let's just make a mistake. Oops. Did we do that? Did we list Bitcoin at a ridiculously undervalued price or overvalued? I don't know what the actual numbers were. And they were like,
Oh, it was insane. Yeah.
it was an honest
It was-
mistake, guys. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well,
Get the
and
fuck
what
out of
like
here.
all deposits and like withdrawals pretty much from what I heard, the blockchain wasn't even functioning when they listed. So
love
nobody
Binance,
could
dude.
even
What a
nobody
fucking-
like with money on Polo or anything could get it over to sell at these ridiculously high
Dude, as
prices.
soon as I like saw that, I was like, man, that was not a mistake, my friend. That was
No.
CZ needing his Lambos.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was
Dude.
yeah.
Classic crypto trickery.
He needed to do his like Sunday, like, you know, he needed to pay his taxes. That's what that was for.
For real.
Probably.
I was like, I was
Yep.
looking at like the exchange volume listings today on CoinMarketCap, and I was just thinking like, we're all in the wrong game. We should have built an exchange. We should have started
Oh,
an exchange like
yeah.
6 months ago, you know? I mean, Binance is not that old,
Like
is
the
it?
guys behind BitMEX, those guys are just
Yeah.
rolling.
I mean, I
right
think
now.
I think Chang Peng, or I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but CZ, I'll call him. Yeah, isn't he like
CZ.
one of the quickest
There you
like
go.
billionaires or something in history, or something like that?
He's
just
got to be, man.
Ridiculous
Like,
amounts of money.
what, Binance per quarter, they're bringing in what? Like last quarter, they brought in $200 million.
Oh,
something
yeah,
like
this-
that. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, Binance made more revenue than JP Morgan, I think was the article.
I think it's like there was some crazy stat comparing it to Deutsche Bank, right? So Deutsche Bank has like 40,000 employees or something, and Binance has like 800 and made more in the second quarter than Deutsche Bank. It's just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
that's,
Love it.
Just show you technology.
that'll
how you
make
can leverage
the big banks want to get into it. Like if that wasn't a
Total.
indicator enough, it's like, okay, guys, there's money to be made here. And now you're seeing them starting to roll in, slowly, where there's trading desks popping up. And
Hey, as Prince says, has Bitrex opened to registration again?
I don't even know. I haven't been on there in forever.
Right?
Bitrex.
That's a
Right.
Prince word.
Bitrex.
It's fucking horrible, dude. I like it, but it's fucking horrible.
It's that Canadian
Yeah.
slang in
Bitrex.
it.
I'm gonna have to start using that.
It's
Bitrex.
You guys always.
we all know everyone except Prince knows it's Bitrex, right?
Oh, you mean
But they haven't
Siacoin? You
reopened.
mean that one?
Sorry, Prince. The
Binance?
best was Binance.
or via coin.
Binance and
Oh,
Decker.
Decred is another cross.
Oh, you guys called Medici when he came on. You were like Medici. Who did that?
That was
Who
that
did
was
that
Dale.
grave,
That was
egregious error?
Finally, I could laugh at somebody else and make an
Oh, I caught
pronunciation error.
so much flack for that.
Oh man, I was like,
Well, like both the times we had him on here, I kept saying to the guys, I'm like, okay, is it Medici or
Wasn't
Medici?
correction, but yeah,
I
just
think I said it
unreal.
was Medici. If I recall.
I just sat
I
silent.
don't remember.
well, even that's wrong. It's Medici.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you would know, I guess.
Yeah, I would. I played my Assassin's Creed back in the day. Okay, so that's how I know. It's not because I'm Italian. It's because I was a degenerate and was inside playing games, and everyone was like at the high
And
school
fapping
dance.
12 times daily as well.
Well, no, not
be
back
fair,
then.
like-
That was.
Assassin's Creed is a pretty wicked video game, so
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, it is.
Roy, do you have any like sectors of the market that you like more than others in terms of like categories of coins or types of coins or anything like
ICOs.
that?
ICOs.
ICOs.
Oh,
Really?
hell
I
yeah.
saw a tweet about that recently.
Yeah, I saw you tweeted.
Go into
about
that. Go
too,
into that.
bro.
Elaborate.
That's my bread
the
and
listeners.
butter. ICOs, man. So I made a tweet. Basically, it was something like, "Yeah, man. So I'm seeing every time Twitter OG comes out with one of these new posts, like, hey guys, I'm buying Dragon Chain at 300 billion satoshis," and I'm just like, "Whoa, where were you during the ICO like 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Come on!" Like, and it's not just like one coin. It's like I'm consistently seeing people like. It's just like OGs like bag hold the top, and it's like I don't want to like put anyone on the spot for this, but like because I'll put people on the spot, but I'm not going to do it on a podcast. But like, like I'm pretty like savage about that, but not on the podcast, guys. This is PG-13. But like
Yeah.
I've seen a few people like bag hold coins on the absolute top, and they don't sell for whatever reason because they're already up like 10x, and they're expecting like a 50x or some insane like valuation, and it's like that's not happening. And then it goes back down. They're like, I just loaded up on a lot more, like, whatever coin I was. And I'm just like, dude, like, it's not how you do it, bro.
I got some people in mind too. Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, like my strategy, like everyone has their own strategy. So I'm never going to go and tell someone like, oh, what you're doing is wrong or whatever. If you're making money, you're making money, right? But
Yeah.
I just think you should, learn how to sell,
That and then, like especially if you're at a 10x, you know what? Do yourself a favor and at least take maybe if you haven't sold any, just 25% of the position. Free it up.
Yeah, see, me, I'm like, I'm already like, I fucking bailed. If a coin is at like 10x, I'm out like 80%. Like
I'm not in
or
there anymore.
75%.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
lucky to hold out for that long. Typically.
Yeah, I'll
Like,
sell. So what I used to do is I used to do the meme where it was like sell half at a 2x, and then I started feeling like a beta because everyone on Twitter was like, you never do that, you never do that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna sell half at a 3x, so I feel a lot better. So that's been my strategy since. Anywhere from 3 to 5x, I'll sell half, and then by the time we get to 10x, I'll sell another 25%, and then I have 25% left for
think, like,
the moon mission.
that term, like sell half on a double, probably has cost me more money than it's made me in crypto, if anything. So yeah, like,
Are you
definitely
saying like
agree
by
there.
doing
It's
it's
no.
cost you money?
Oh yeah, opportunity lost just because it keeps going up, and it's like, oh yeah, just sit on your hands for another couple of days and you'll be
And that's
happy,
something you really need to keep in mind with crypto is like throw all your assumptions about asset gains out the window when you get into crypto because stocks don't apply, bonds don't apply, Forex does not apply, emerging markets do not apply. The returns are so much higher. And that's going to get less and less as time goes on. But as for now, I mean, you got to be, like you said, like a 2x is not really much. I mean, I remember watching like the XRP chart or the Ripple chart when it was bubbling, back in like spring of 2017. And keep in mind, it's against like the Bitcoin ratio, which is also like Bitcoin's price was going up at the same time. And even like the XRP to Bitcoin price was like double, triple. Like this is in like a day, like within like an hour span where it was just completely going absurd. And so like you got to check all expectations at the door and change your mindset.
That was like, and that's where I say, like, going back to the last true alt season, to me, that was like my biggest mistakes, was just because I was following that sell half on a double at times, and like Stratus.
Oh yeah, you do
greatest-
not do that. Not in a bull
Yeah.
market.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly,
man.
right? So And that was like my introduction. It's like, welcome to a crypto crazy ass bull run for alts, and that was my first experience. And it was like, damn, what an idiot I was, looking back at it. So
Yeah, crypto where you go 10x on your portfolio is like pretty shitty performance. Only in crypto.
Right?
Yeah, right? It's ridiculous. Like,
Prince, what'd you say at the beginning there? I was actually zoning off.
I'm not repeating myself.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll just have to listen to it again.
So I wasn't when I was here last time. This was like during the bear season, but now that the bear season's over, knock on wood, I could be like, man, that was an absolute bloodbath. I mean, that was just like an epic proportions. Just people getting liquidated left, right, longs are liquidated, shorts are liquidated, just massive chop, and all of like. I don't even know how many people. Like, we lost so many men in the war, guys. We lost so many men, I hate it. We really did. Like, Lane is gone. Like, I had so many people saying, like, I'm selling, I'm out, it's 6.5K, I'm out.
Yeah. Like, the amount of people that I was, say, talking with in DMs and, kind of getting into the space, but they got in a little too early. And then, they just go ghost. They're nowhere to be seen anymore for months.
So sad. Well, hopefully what those guys did is they just bag holding now.
It sucks, but that's part of the market.
I mean, just look at Twitter follower numbers. I mean, even like the really big accounts have largely stagnated. Like people who are getting followers hand over fist during the bullish seasons are like pretty flat. I think that's actually a pretty indicative precursor to the markets going up also.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing that I didn't really like appreciate until now, because I'm like, I wouldn't say I'm a big Twitter account. I'm pretty like relatively unknown even at 25K, but like,
which is a bunch of shit.
well, you know what, that's for the after the show, then I'll complain about that. But so like what?
That's
what are you guys talking about? I'm the voice of a generation. Like why isn't everyone following me? I have the best trade ideas. No, but like the thing that you don't know as just as a trader, like in the markets, is like how quickly these things can ramp up. But being someone on like, I don't want to say the other side, but on having a different perspective and having an account that I do on my Twitter, like what ends up happening is you will just get hundreds on hundreds of people all of a sudden out of nowhere. And they're all legitimate people. Like they're not bots. And that's like, where are all these people coming from? Like, how does this turn on like that so quickly? How does the hype build this quickly? And like, you don't see that as a normal everyday trader. You only see that as like an influencer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it like builds upon itself too, because the more people join, they tell their friends, they go, "Oh my god, dude, I bought this thing the other day. It's up 5x, in like 2 weeks. Like you got to get in this crypto." And like that spreads as well. Then that person tells a couple of people, then those people tell a couple of people, and it's almost like a fission reaction, and in terms of how quickly it multiplies. And so it's amazing how quickly it can take shape and form and influence the markets after that too, because more capital goes in. And I think like we all kind of forget a little bit, well, I certainly do, I don't want to speak for you guys, but how it was in the beginning. Like when I first started out, I bought like a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of Ethereum. And I was like, I don't know if this stuff's legit. I'm going to put a little bit in this stuff and maybe I can make a little bit of money. And then before I know it, I'm like maxing out my credit cards, like buying Ethereum on like, like 11 o'clock at night on a Wednesday. And I'm like, well, I hope I wake up with more. Here we go. But then like that's
you're like drawing blood deals with like George Soros.
Exactly. But like
that $100 limit just bumped up again on the credit card for Coinbase. Time to fucking max it out.
And I think that experience is not that uncommon among a lot of people. I think they dip their toe, and they go, fuck, I should have put $100 in when I put in 5, and fuck, I should have put in 1,000 when I put in 100. And that kind of like, that really multiplies really quickly. But it takes a couple of months for people to get in that like completely greedy, like crazy sort of insane mindset, but that's what really fuels the crazy markets.
That's what we saw there.
Hey, Roy, what's your strategy? So say, looking at like a long-term, mid-term hold versus a short-term shitcoin pump you're trying to, I guess, if you can answer that, is that a good question? Or do I sound like
you might want to rephrase it just a little bit? It's a little bit.
Here, I'll
what's your
Dale? Here, what's your criteria? You're looking at a coin that you want to hold potentially for a month or two, maybe more if that's your time frame goes longer. What criteria are you looking at?
So the thing that much better question. Thank you so much.
Thanks for translating, Prince
from Iowa.
I speak Dale. Yeah, I got you.
When are we getting that on the Google Translate? But Actually, okay. I was just thinking. I was just thinking about those Bitcoin bravado guys. You guys saw that article, right? Where the guy was like, "Hey, has anyone here ever done like a pump and dump thing, where like market management,
Oh, we saw.
where you buy a coin at
Yeah.
Like, fuck, I hope I'm not
Let's
in there.
manipulate a market.
It's like, yeah, bro, I got a few Bitcoin I can throw in. I got a few.
Yeah,
I got a few.
I got
Tron.
one or two. Yeah. I'll toss one or two
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
but
Did you say a few Tron?
yeah.
God, that's awesome.
I was gonna go with Ripple, but it's too contemporary. We got to be new age. So
Yeah, no shit. That's so old.
so
school.
criteria. So generally, like I'm always like looking at coins in a fundamental value, or from a fundamental stance. I don't really do TA like at all. Funnily enough,
Mhm.
the more time that goes on, I just do less TA. But I'm always looking at, especially myself doing, I would say mostly ICO investing. But now that alt season's back, I have been doing some alt investing. But it's always, what the team is, the company, what are they building? Is this, an important thing? Is this timely? Does this make sense right now? Like, so one of the projects that I saw a few months ago was for DAV, decentralized autonomous vehicles, which is like, okay, this is a really cool idea. Probably is going to be worth something, but there are no fucking autonomous vehicles on the street right now. So where is the value in your project, right? So I wouldn't invest in that.
Mhm.
So it's, timing is also another thing. And then like, as far as exits are concerned, so I think this is a little bit of a trap that other people fall into. And I'm going to say it's a trap unless I'm just going to be completely wrong in the future. But what ends up happening is people will find a good coin and they'll buy this coin, right? Whether it's an ICO or on the markets or whatever. And they'll say, okay, here's my fundamental reason why this is good. Here's kind of my profit target. Or maybe they'll be like me and they don't even have a profit target. And they'll just say, I'll sell whenever. But what they end up doing is they get too sucked into the community aspect of the coin or too sucked into the fundamentals of it, and they don't want to sell. So if a coin goes 10x, how much more are you willing to, what's the trade-off there? Because the risk becomes a little bit less asymmetrical now for you to hold at a 10x as opposed to just selling at the 10x, because now your asset is 10 times more value than it was before. Why are you not selling? Well, because it's going to be valuable in the future, this or that. Okay, that might be true. But that's going to be a much more long-term perspective. It's probably better if you take your 10x off the table now, invest it into something else, and in that same amount of time, do another 10x. So now all of a sudden you're up 100x, right? So that's kind of I have a very aggressive selling style, and I don't care about your asset. If it goes 10x, I'm selling, right? Not completely. I've held 100x's before, but that's kind of like, I'll use the fundamental view to find good coins, but if a coin goes 5, 10, 15, 20x, it's no longer to me fundamentally viable as a whole. It's now I need to sell this because this is clearly overvalued and it's going to have a dip. And oftentimes it does.
It takes a lot of discipline too, because like your coin does that 5 to 10x and the greed sets in almost immediately. And you're like, it's going 100x. Like the way it shifts your perspective and what you think it's going to do is completely crazy a lot of the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. Like, I actually don't really have too many problems with that. The thing that for me that is a bigger deal is like whenever a coin goes like 10x, let's say, like it's less of a greed. Oh, this can go to 100x, more of a fear. Oh, this can go down and I can lose a lot of my money. I don't think there's a right way necessarily. But, as they always say, like great traders are more worried about preserving their capital than actually making more gains. I don't know if that's true, but that's kind of what worries me a lot whenever a coin or an asset goes up.
Yeah, it's definitely, that's part of what's reassuring about being in an ICO is you feel like you're in on the ground floor. And so it affords you a certain feeling of safety. Whether that's true or not, I think it's a good thing to have, like knowing that you're in at the bottom.
It's interesting. I was reading an article and it was a good little Medium post, and it was good because it kind of touched on some of the deceptions, we'll say, of that idea of, we're getting in on the ground floor. And this is kind of an interesting, just to touch on that comment is we don't really know where a lot of these VCs are getting in, but they're getting in before us.
That's true. Very
right?
true.
So that's a little interesting piece, and I don't think people really keep that in mind a lot of times when they're looking at things. But
so one of the most important things, because if you guys fall down the ICO rabbit hole like I have, is this is a very important thing that you have to consider when you look into a project. Is you look at who bought your project, and at what value did they buy your project, and how much equity are they getting in your project. those are very important, like and like eminent questions that you need to be asking yourself, and more importantly, asking the project. And if they don't tell you, sometimes they won't tell you.
Yeah.
And I've seen this historically, they won't tell you, oh, they're getting an undisclosed amount of equity or whatever. That's a cut and run. So like Dfinity, for example. I mean, these guys. So the problem, they had a big problem with Dfinity mainly because they didn't know how to properly operate their ICO. So the Dfinity, the project started several years ago. And when they started several years ago, the price of Ethereum was much lower. But they didn't peg to US dollars at the time. They pegged to Ethereum, right? And so, or I think it was US dollars. I don't remember now. But the point is that for a very small amount of money, the seed investors in that project today, because the Dfinity is looking at a valuation of around $3.5 billion, those guys got 25% of equity, 25% of the tokens in the Dfinity crowd sale. So they weren't putting up, 25% of 3.5 billion, almost like a billion. What is that, 750 million? They didn't put that up back then. They put in maybe, $100,000. And so these guys are getting something like a 40x or a 400x times return on their investment. Just on other ICO investors. Like they're just screwing over the guys who are buying in at the very last tier. And so those are the products that, I personally hate. I don't invest in those kind of things. Like I think it's a complete scam. And people need to really look at and worry about these things. Who's getting in? What price are they getting? What tier are they getting in? Are their tokens locked up? Because maybe like the Dfinity case, their tokens aren't locked up at all. So they're just going to market dump on you instantly. Who cares if they get a 200x instead and they dump the market by 50%? Like they don't care.
They're already so filthy rich.
But you care. You who got in, at the $3.5 billion valuation are just now market dumped and you just lost half your value. So it's very important. Same thing happened with Salt actually. So Salt, the very seed stage investors got their Salt tokens at 25 cents a piece. No, I think it was even lower. I think it was 2.5 cents. And if you guys remember, Salt ended up going to something like $10. Right. So quite the great return on investment there, like a 40x. And, they did what they do. And you sell that, right? Anyone in their right mind would sell that. And so that's what they did. And it kind of screwed over the other investors who got in at later tranches.
Well, Roy, I think I've got everything crossed off my list that I wanted to talk to you about. What about you fellas?
Yeah.
Yeah, always a
Covered
good
a lot.
guest, man. It's fun having you on.
Appreciate
Good sense of humor, too.
Oh, thanks, guys. Hell yeah.
Which can be kind of rare in this space a little bit.
Yeah, thanks,
Just
Roy.
saying.
What do you
Good
mean?
sense of humor.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I try, guys. I try to see the bright side in all things. Even when someone's on Twitter, they're like, look, Roy, you fucking scammer. You don't know what you're doing. You're just horrible. And I'm like, hey, nice avatar, bro. I like it.
Best of luck to you, bud.
I don't even what? I always think, I made a post about this the other day. I was like, I think most people who generally give you shitty advice on or criticism on Twitter or whatever are generally people who like you. They're just phrasing it a little bit poorly. They don't know how to talk to people.
Yeah.
So, when people say, I'm a shit slinging mud flinger, troglodyte fuck who doesn't know how to trade, really what they're saying is, Roy, I really respect your content. Maybe think about, evaluating one or two of these decisions. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
See, I like that view because when somebody says those
I do
things
too.
to me, I'm ready
It's
to
like-
throw down and
Oh, yeah.
start
This is
fighting,
prone to violence very quickly. But it's the adage, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I think it's totally true. And it took me a really long time to kind of learn that. I'm still learning, but good point for sure.
It's all Gucci,
All Gucci
right?
keys. At the end of the day, if we make money, who cares?
That's exactly right. We're all in this for the same thing, technology.
All about the tech.
So, thanks, Roy, for being on. It was great. Hopefully, the listeners got a lot out of it. We'll have to have you back again because you're pretty funny.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, I don't mind.
So-
Just hit me up whenever, man. I'm down. I'm good for it.
For sure. So, thanks everyone for listening. Tip your waitress. Peace out. Till next time.